up in global business, China's total outstanding external debt remains stable at $2.4 trillion in the first half of this year, according to official data. The 9th BRIC Parliamentary Forum is taking place in Johannesburg, South Africa, where over 250 delegates have covered to discuss BRICS Africa relations. And we continue to mark 10 years of the Belt and Road Initiative. Our reporters bring us to Ethiopia to explore a local railway built using Chinese engineering expertise. Hello and welcome to this edition of Global Business on CGTN. I'm Guan Xing in Beijing. We'll begin by looking at the latest financial data released by China's top foreign exchange regulator. The total outstanding external debt remains stable at $2.4 trillion at the end of the first half of this year, according to the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. That's a 2% or $57 billion decline compared to the level in March this year. Meanwhile, China's current account registered a surplus of $140 billion in the first 6 months of the year. The capital and financial accounts recorded a deficit of over $127 billion. In the meantime, trade in goods posted a surplus of over $290 billion, while trading services saw a deficit of $102 billion. In the meantime, China's domestic market is expected to boom during an 8-day holiday starting tomorrow, celebrating the Mid-Autumn Festival and a national day. Cinema goers and travelers are sending holiday consumption to new highs. The latest data show China's box office has already hit 200 million yuan, even though the holiday has barely started. That number was about 1.5 billion in the same holiday period last year. In terms of transportation, an estimated 190 million passenger trips will be made by train throughout the holiday, and that compares to about 170 million a year ago, and more than 21 million people will be traveling by air. Friday will be China's Mid-Autumn Festival. Mooncakes, traditional pastries, have never been absent from the celebration table. This year, manufacturers have learned some new tricks to pull in customers. Our reporter Ying Junyi gives us a taste of what's in store.
You just can't have the Mid-Autumn Festival without mooncakes. The traditional Chinese baked pastry symbolizes family reunions, and having a few is an important part of the celebration. In Shanghai, these pork-filling mooncakes are a favorite. This shop in downtown says it's serving thousands of local customers every day, lining up for the favorite traditional flavor.
During peak time, around 10 to 15 days before the festival, customers have to wait for 3 or 4 hours. Each is limited to just 8 boxes. We can sell 50,000 to 60,000 mooncakes a day at that time.
At this traditional pastry maker Xinhua Lou on Fuzhou Road, shoppers were lining up to be sure they had theirs ready for the big day.
I prefer mooncakes from the old brands to celebrate the festival.
I got mooncake voucher, and I grew up eating this brand.
And with mooncakes being such a popular part of the festival, no matter their size, flavor, or design, they represent a delicious business opportunity for companies wanting to engage more with potential customers. And for the traditional brands like Xinhua Lou, it means opportunities as well, letting them join with other firms to raise their popularity with younger customers.
We are doing cross-marketing with Ovaltine, the Dunhuang Museum, and mobile game Arknights this year. The mooncakes with special flavors or packaging designs were sold out within just half a month. The Arknights mooncake gift boxes sold out in just a week. As a traditional brand, we want to attract the attention of the young and create a new brand image.
Different companies like candy brand White Rabbit and coffee chain Starbucks are also eager to get in on the market, launching their own mooncake gift boxes. Ying Junyi, ICIS for CGTN Shanghai.
And now let's take a look at some stories on China's economy we're tracking at this hour. China's Eastern Airlines signed an agreement on Thursday to buy 100 C919 airplanes in a deal worth $10 billion, marking the largest single order for the China-developed large passenger aircraft. Xi'an, capital of northwest China's Shanxi province, on Thursday recorded its 20,000th China-Europe freight train trip. The number of trips from Xi'an account for about a quarter of the total number of China-Europe express train trips operating in China. And the European Commission is investigating whether it should impose punitive tariffs on Chinese EV imports. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said in a recent interview that he was not convinced about the need to impose tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. On the overpasses, beside sidewalks, on top of office buildings, the convening of the Asian Games in Hangzhou has promoted the development of sports complexes in some unusual forgotten corners of the city. Let's take a look.
With the opportunity provided by the Asian Games, Hangzhou has launched a 3-year action plan for the construction of embedded sports facilities. The goal is to utilize the unused spaces and extend the reach of sports facilities to a larger number of residents.
Previously, this area was an old factory and cafeteria. At the time when Hangzhou was vigorously promoting embedded sports facilities, we took the initiative to start a transformation here. We have installed an intelligent capture system throughout the venue, equipped with 49 high-definition capture cameras, as well as a powerful back-end processing system. The entire venue exudes a futuristic and high-tech atmosphere.
Just through a WeChat mini program, your score moments will be generated automatically.
It can capture my spectacular score from multiple angles, and highlights are generated automatically. For basketball enthusiasts, it's a great way to document. That's why I love playing here.
Hangzhou Basketball Park was previously an abandoned construction site under an overpass. It was rapidly transformed into this 20,000 square meter sports facility within 2 months in preparation for the Asian Games. Now, the country's largest underpass basketball park, it serves over 100,000 households in surrounding districts.
The supporting facilities here are very comprehensive, with 150 parking spaces and a lounge for citizens to rest and recharge. There are also courts that can be used for both basketball and tennis. With the help of the lights on the overpass, many people also come to exercise in the evening.
This court is located on an overpass, so around 3 o'clock, there's no direct sunlight here. The visibility is also quite good.
This place is both shady and sheltered. It is freely accessible to the public, which is very beneficial. The visibility here is also very good, and there's a pleasant breeze under the overpass, making it very comfortable.
张海翔、王珂 CGTN, Hangzhou, Zhejiang Province.
And now we're heading for a short break. Still to come on the program. The 9th BRICS Parliamentary Forum is taking place in Johannesburg, South Africa, where over 250 delegates have converged to discuss BRICS-Africa relations and foster collective progress.
What are you still standing here for? Come join us.
Take a flight, catch a train, hop on a bus. We are traveling to places of different cultures and languages.
Мы ведем репортажи из Алматы, Казахстан,
à Dubaï, aux Émirats Arabes Unis,
desde las calles de Rio de Janeiro,
للمشالي في Dhaka, Bangladesh.
And what are we looking for?
Infrastructure along the Belt and Road countries.
Stories of how they promote growth and improve lives.
Only on our special series of the New Silk Road.
Johannesburg is currently hosting the two-day 9th BRICS Parliamentary Forum. The assembly gathers lawmakers and policymakers together from BRICS member states. Over 250 delegates have converged to discuss BRICS-Africa relations and foster collective progress. And for the latest on the ground, let's cross to our correspondent Sumitra Naidu in Johannesburg. Hi there, Naidu. So the BRICS Parliamentary Forum is now in its second day. Tell us more about the discussions so far.
Yes, so the forum comes just since the BRICS Heads of State Summit was held here in Johannesburg, the 15th BRICS Summit. The forum brings together intergovernmental departments from various countries to discuss legislative frameworks for BRICS. Now, the assembly takes place under the theme Harnessing Multilateralism and Parliamentary Diplomacy to Deepen a BRICS and Africa Partnership for Accelerated Implementation of the Africa Free Trade Agreement. Now, it's especially important this year that people have come together, parliamentarians from across the BRICS member states, because 5 new countries have been granted BRICS membership. So, of course, lots to discuss and the way forward. Strengthening relations between these member countries, of course, dominating these discussions, really to promote multilateralism. This was very much the theme for all of the BRICS meetings that were held this year under the chairmanship of South Africa. So South Africa's Deputy President Paul Mashatile opened the Parliamentary Forum as President Ramaphosa attends the UN meetings in New York. So Mashatile noting that the forum's importance is really to exact change on a global scale, which is at an unprecedented scale. And going further to touch on the fact that not all countries are happy about this. Some are actually very concerned about the scale that you're talking about. He made clear, though, that BRICS was about peace and that the expansion was really about equitable resource distribution. Now, there was also a discussion around deepening ties between BRICS and Africa, the implementation of the African Free Trade Agreement. Of course, this was really the big theme for these meetings. Now, the Free Trade Agreement is massive in terms of its objectives. It has the ability to uplift over 30 million people out of poverty. The agreement really is aimed at bringing together 1.3 billion people on the continent, bringing them together amongst the 55 countries, really to make trade easier to, and to actually extract this kind of value from this trade on home soil. And this trade is worth over $3 trillion. So delegates touched on the synergy and the relationship and how BRICS can actually help Africa promote this kind of trade and look at ways of also collaborating to strengthen trade and economic development. So these meetings focused a lot on the critical role of overseeing legislative actions and monitoring, branched executive decisions amongst the member countries. These meetings also really important for lawmakers to scrutinize the outcomes of the recent Heads of State Summit that we had here in Johannesburg.
Well, thank you for all that information. That was Sumitra Naidu for us in Johannesburg. And now for more insights on the BRICS Parliamentary Forum, we're joined by Liu Baochen, Dean of the Center for International Business Ethics, University of International Business and Economics. Well, thank you for joining us, Professor Liu. So what progress can the BRICS Parliamentary Forum made in terms of upholding multilateralism?
Well, there is a general consensus among the BRICS countries that the world is turning from unipolar into multipolar, and therefore the platform of BRICS can play a more important role in strengthening the South-South cooperation. And with the addition of new members to the BRICS, I think they need certain game rules as how they can really consolidate the facilitation of trade and investment across different member countries, and particularly targeting to the African continent. And they are lawmakers, so therefore it is the right type of job, and also there is a level of urgency for them to carve out a consolidation program so that the countries can really come up, particularly the private sectors can participate with a more visible and more conducive role to generate the trade and investment increase so that all members can really benefit from it.
So with more member countries on board, what areas should BRICS prioritize in terms of economic cooperation?
I think right now infrastructure is still the bottleneck because connectivity through the roads, the ports, and also with the information technology is there to reduce the cost of doing business and also bring more people together with low cost, and that's something that's important. The other one is the energy transformation because right now the whole world is facing a common target towards the climate change. So therefore, to bring more of the solar panels, wind powers, and hydro powers to those underdeveloped areas, and that can really alleviate people's the scarcity of the power supply, but in the meantime to contribute to the green development of the entire region. And plus, I think still capacity building is the ultimate solution because the younger generation, which is occupy a larger share of the population structure, needs to be strengthened with more professional skills so that they can really step up with the new developments for the high quality growth and through the high level of integration of these countries.
So let's talk a bit more about the expansion of BRICS members. In your opinion, how will it affect the agenda of the organization?
Well, I think this is really a very good news, and this is really groundbreaking to expand the BRICS into with more countries participating. It shows that there is a high level of vitality, and there is a huge potential that can be unlocked through a better collaboration with more of the member countries. But in the meantime, with more of the members, they need, as I said, a unified and streamlined game rule to play, so that the businesses and consumers can have more predictability in what they really can get from the exchange and from the cooperation. And also the lawmakers can really come up to formulate based on the number of memo of understandings to really to have a sort of pact that can really bring people into a same level playing field so that people can really do business with more confidence, and people-to-people exchange can also be facilitated with the right type of fair game.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. That was Liu Baoquan, Dean of the Center for International Business Ethics at the University of International Business and Economics. And now we're heading for another short break. Still to come on the program. We continue to mark 10 years of the Belt and Road Initiative. Our reporters bring us to Ethiopia to explore a local railway built using Chinese engineering expertise.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global business. Only on CGTN.
Over the past decade, 152 countries and 32 international organizations have signed up to the Belt and Road Initiative. As the initiative hits its 10-year mark, CGTN's reporters have traveled to 22 Belt and Road nations across Asia, Africa, Europe, and Latin America to uncover stories of collaboration, transformation, and people-to-people exchanges under the framework. From Urumqi, capital of China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, our reporters have embarked on journeys to Kazakhstan, Ethiopia, and Malaysia. In this episode, we join our reporter Ning Hong in Addis Ababa to explore East Africa's Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, a huge project built using the expertise of the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation. It has not only improved the local travel, but has also become a vital economic artery for the region.
This railway follows Chinese construction, operation, and maintenance standards, and Chinese drivers have been instrumental in training Ethiopian counterparts.
We've trained a total of 4 batches of drivers totaling 111 people. 3 of them have already been certified by the Ministry of Transport here, and the 4th batch began the certification work in September.
I like this job, and because, as I told you before, it's unique for Ethiopia and for East Africa. When they came here, they share their experience, how to work, how to operate the train, how to control the train, and how to inspect and everything in the train. So it's very interesting, and I want to say thank you for them.
Stretching over 700 kilometers from Addis Ababa to Djibouti, this electrified railway sets the standard for East Africa, primarily serving freight, but also offering passenger services every 2 days.
This train system will be good by any position of the types. For example, the coordinators. All of the staffs, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, having a cup of strong coffee here and traveling along the way from Addis Ababa to Dili Dawa and enjoying this beautiful view, well, it's a nice way to enjoy the life in Ethiopia. Very nice.
Over the past 6 years, this railway has transported over 600,000 passengers and moved more than 9 million tons of cargo. And these days, it not only facilitates the movement of goods and people.
From 400 million birr in revenue in 2018, then 6 years later, rising to 4 billion birr in revenue this year, with an annual growth rate of around 40%. Last year, we made a profit.
With more than 2,800 local employees recruited, Ethiopians play a key role in diverse professions and positions along the entire railway line.
So by sitting in this room, we can control all activity along the lines from these to the Wale 16 stations I have said. So the technology is very good, it's best.
Currently, over 90% of the work is operated by Ethiopians. And according to the contract, the railway will be fully handed over to Ethiopia by the Chinese side, possibly by the end of this year. Ning Hong, CGTN, Ethiopia.
In China, a group of train drivers from Ethiopia and Djibouti are being trained to work on a major railway linking the 2 countries. The first electrified cross-border rail link in Africa is a flagship project under China's Belt and Road Initiative.
The group is being trained at Zhengzhou Railway Vocational and Technical College in Henan Province. All the train drivers will be working on the rail line linking Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, and the Red Sea port, Djibouti.
Everything about the locomotive and external knowledge we take from the previous one knowledge. So there is theoretical part, okay, and also the simulation is in the apprenticeship. We see the freight locomotive in Chinese in the apprenticeship.
With the rapid development of China's rail system, high-speed rail in particular, this college has become a world-leading institution when it comes to rail technology and education.
We actively cultivate local talents for the region, training railway transportation technical personnel for Ethiopia, Laos, and Saudi Arabia. Simultaneously, we have established overseas branches to enhance vocational education openness and actively develop vocational training standards. We have already developed 8 vocational standards in collaboration with Tanzania and Ethiopia.
In this round, 28 drivers from Ethiopia and Djibouti will undergo a 6-month training program here, where they will learn about driving locomotives, psychology, railway operation management, and more. They'll also gain practical experience in China's rail system industry. Ning Hong, CGTN, Henan Province.
China is a major customer of Saudi Arabian crude oil. In recent years, it has deepened its ties with the country, particularly in the energy sector. A Chinese oil giant Sinopec Tech Middle East, located in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, scientists are working with local companies to improve oil drilling efficiency. CGTN's Yu Yang has more.
In the heart of the world's oil empire, innovation meets efficiency. This tool, tailor-made for Saudi Arabia, promises to boost oil drilling efficiency in hard rocks by a staggering 20 to 40%.
At Sinopec Tech Middle East, an associated scientist is doing experiments to test the strength and elastic properties of rocks. After that, they will know the energy needed to break rocks so as to improve drilling efficiency. So please introduce us your experiments.
Sure, indeed. So what we're doing right now is micro-indentations. Basically, what we're trying to do is achieve the elastic properties by indenting the rock, the different type of rock properties that we have, in order to achieve the strength or the elastic properties of these rocks.
At Sinopec Tech Middle East, a team of scientists led by senior engineer Tu Yulin has developed a tool called Hydro-Afflex Hammer. This tool operates on the principles of hydraulics and fluid pressure transmission, allowing it to generate high-impact forces to penetrate and break rock formations during the drilling process. Experts say that using this tool can result in an operational cost reduction of around $700,000 to $1 million for 10 wells.
目前我们跟当地的最大的石油公司
We work closely with Aramco, the largest oil company in Saudi Arabia, to develop products tailored to their specific requirements. We have carried out on-site testing on multiple oil wells, and the technology's performance has been verified.
Located in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, the facility covers an area of 4,800 square meters and houses 7 specialized laboratories, including those for rock mechanics, drilling, cementing, stimulation, and more.
中国石化为践行国家"一带一路 To fulfill our commitment to the Belt and Road Initiative and Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, we have dedicated ourselves to building high-standard experimental facilities, establishing international research teams, and fostering close collaborations with local oil companies and universities. Our cooperation covers various areas such as scientific research, laboratory construction, talent development.
China, a major customer of Saudi Arabian crude oil, has deepened its ties with the country in recent years, particularly in the energy sector. In alignment with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, which aims to reduce its country's dependence on oil while diversifying its economy, China's oil giants are prepared to undertake more joint projects related to new energy.
那么这么几年来，我们为了配合沙特政府呢
In recent years, we have cooperated with Saudi Arabia's energy companies in developing geothermal, wind, and solar energy, as well as carbon capture, utilization, and storage technology. We believe there are great prospects for cooperation between Chinese and Saudi companies in these areas.
Besides Sinopec, PetroChina and the China National Offshore Oil Corporation, other Chinese enterprises have also initiated cooperation with the Saudi enterprises in the energy sector. With Saudi Arabia's entry into the BRICS group, many believe that this kingdom is anticipating further cooperation with the BRICS nations. Yu Yang, CGTN, in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia.
And that would do it for this edition of Global Business here on CGTN. Thank you for being with us. The Hub with Wang Guan is coming up next. Stay tuned.